Hey everybody, welcome to The Dose. My name is Brian. I just got off the treadmill. I'm telling you, it's the weirdest thing. I do my best thinking on there. I'm on that treadmill and I'm going, and all of a sudden my brain just starts cooking up ideas, and I think, I gotta talk about that on The Dose. And the funny part is, if I don't sometimes hop off right then and there and sit down and lay the idea down on tape, I'll forget it. I'll drop it. 10 minutes later, I'll be like, what was I gonna do The Dose about? But what I got me thinking about tonight while I was running on the treadmill is the fact that I felt guilty that I took pretty much the entire day off yesterday. It was my birthday. So I took the entire day off and I didn't do any working out or anything, and I was sitting there kind of feeling guilty about it today. And boy, I tell you what, I could tell too. I ran this morning and I ran again tonight. It's just brutal. But as I'm sitting there thinking, I thought, there's something I haven't talked about in a while, is the two great sea anchors of your life. The two things that will weigh you down. The two things that will slow you down more than anything else, that hinder your progress, they hinder your relationships, they hinder your ability to communicate effectively, they hinder your ability to focus, they hinder your vision and your expectation. These two things are like giant bags of cement attached to huge metal chain link chains tied around your neck. And as you're trying to climb the mountain of success, right, you're dragging these things behind you. Each and every one of us. You included. So Brian, you tell me, what are these two things? What are these two things that are slowing me down? Here's what they are. Guilt and blame. And if you really want to accelerate your progress in any area of your life, spiritual, emotional, relational, physical, business success, financial, if you want to move to the next level of achievement in your life, you've got to get shed of these two sea anchors. You've got to get rid of guilt, and you've got to get rid of blame. Here's guilt. Guilt says, I screwed up, and I'm still carrying it around with me. A lot of personal development speakers talk a lot about forgiveness, how you've got to forgive people around you. You can't bear grudges. You can't hold grudges because that kind of negative energy just all pent up inside you creates all kinds of problems, and all that is true. But before you can forgive anybody else, there's one person that is the most important person that you forgive, and that's yourself. Listen, really wise people became really wise by screwing it up really bad a lot of times, right? Life is trial and error. Life is mistakes and getting past them. What makes you a bigger person is not never screwing up. It's knowing how to pick up the pieces and move on. So the first thing you got to do is you got to forgive yourself. That if you've gooned things up in the past, if you've hurt people, if you've screwed up your finances, if you've gotten yourself into debt, if you've whatever. There's a laundry list of things. I could go through myself alphabetically. I'll choose not to do that here, but my point is, if you've screwed some things up, if you've made some mistakes, let it go. Accept that you did it. Figure out what you can take away from it, and go, you know what? That was who I was. It's not who I am. Who you are is the person that learned from that and can now go on to do something different and make different choices, take their life in a whole new direction. So the first person you've got to forgive is you. You've got to accept the fact that no one is perfect and everyone makes mistakes, and the past is just that. It's past. There's not a single thing you can do about it, except for drag it along currently in your existing life and screw everything else up again, right? You can do that, but I don't recommend it, okay? You've got to let go of guilt. It's the very first thing. You just have to accept that every one of us has made mistakes. We've all got skeletons, right? Learn from it, accept it, let it go. If there's someone you need to ask forgiveness from, go do that. That'll help. But then let it go. And here's the next one you've got to let go. Blame. Blame is the scapegoat that each and every one of us uses to relinquish ourselves of responsibility for the things in our lives. Blame is essentially giving someone else the responsibility for who you are, what you are, and where you are in your life. And here's the reason why blame slows you down. Because if you blame someone else for any circumstance in your life, any circumstance, then you have given that individual absolute control over whether that circumstance continues or changes. Let me give you an example. If I don't make enough money and I blame my job, or if I feel I don't make enough money, and I blame my job, and I blame my boss, then guess what? My boss or the company is going to have to change before I'll make any more money. And what are the odds of that happening? Probably not likely, right? But if I accept that I don't make enough money because I don't necessarily have the skills or the work ethic or the drive to deserve more income, then guess what I can do now? Now I can go to work on me to increase my skills, increase my drive, and increase my work ethic, and thus warrant more income. But as long as I blame somebody else for my income situation is never going to change. Because the only thing that you can control are things that you can control. The moment you blame someone else for something, you have given them the control, and you have relinquished the ability to change that circumstance in your life. So you've got to let go of blame. Blame is again, it's the scapegoat. It's the excuse we all give ourselves for not taking responsibility for who we are, and what we have. But when you can begin to assume complete and total responsibility for everything that is in and around your life, then now you take back the power to make better decisions and take your life in a whole new direction. And I'm going to let you know something. You'll never, ever, ever, for the rest of your life, completely get rid of guilt and blame. It's impossible. You'd be a sociopath if you had no guilt and no blame at all, ever in your life. But here's what you can do. You can work systematically to lighten that load and to reduce the burden of those two things by accepting you've made mistakes, forgive yourself and let it go. Forgive others that have wronged you and let that go. And then understand that you are the Michelangelo of your destiny. You are the captain of your ship. And if you can accept complete and total responsibility for where you are, who you are, and what you are, you'll find your life going in all kinds of directions that you only dreamed of before, but you never thought were a reality. Now they can become a reality because you have control. And the law of control says you only feel good about yourself to the degree to which you feel you're in control of your life. So when you accept complete and total responsibility, guess what you do? You retake control of your life and you begin to feel good again. And when you feel good, you feel positive, you feel optimistic, you feel excited, you feel ready to take on the world. And when you have that kind of positive energy behind you, the world will line up to help you see your dreams come true. So lighten the load, cut the chains, let go of the guilt, let go of the blame, and get on with your life. And that's the dose.